I have been sitting in one position for a pretty long time. My food doesn't feel like my food anymore. Sorry. But it doesn't come out the sound of me stomping to the floor doesn't come out on the stream. So no one can hear what happened before. But it doesn't feel like my food is my food. No. No. Ah, yes, I guess. Oh, this is another sponsor again because I received the key to play this game from WooFit. So yeah, that's all basically. I use, as usual, even though this is a sponsor game, going to play the game. What am I supposed to say? Frankly? In honest? Like, I'm not going to be biased, that's all basically. Enjoy the stream, enjoy the podcast, and if anyone wanted to know more about the game, feel free to type !G or game in the chat room in Twitch. And there will be an IGDB page for this game. That's all. Enjoy the stream, enjoy the podcast. Volume 6, I guess it's okay. Vibration? No, because I'm going to use controller, no, mouse and keyboard. Save, start. I cannot go out before nightfall anymore. If I attempt it, I will founder, struck down by the breath of the jinns. I hardly recognize the landscapes of my childhood in this barren wasteland. Our lands have always been arid, but before there were oases and the semblance of bees, trees were always attended by song. Okay. That time has passed long ago. Today the dance of the burning winds is fiercer and fiercer. I hear it like the senseless rhythm of dissonant tindes. Tindes? And I know I have no time for falling into melancholy. I have to explain my decision to my daughter. Nora, do you remember the fable? The lion, the panther, the tahuri, and the jackal? My question disconcerted her. Her anger abates a little. Yes, mother. So tell me, what lesson do you think you can learn from it today? I don't even know. What's the fable? Respect prevents her from expressing her frustration, but I can almost hear the exasperated growl that tries to escape her. It makes me smile. Her fiery temper has always turned my affection. She recites, the lion, the panther, the tahuri, and the jackal had to share out their kill. The jackal offers to do it and makes 4 equal shares. But the lion is unhappy with his share and kills the jackal. So the tahuri offers to share out the kill and gives half to the lion. She stops. That was a little fast, and you forgot the end. The end? When the lion asks the tahuri who taught him this method of sharing, she frowns. Of course she remembers. The tahuri answers that it was the blow that killed the jackal that taught him. Tell me, my daughter, would you rather be the jackal or the tahuri in that story? Huh? Of course the jackal. But I died though. The lion, the panther, the tahuri, and the jackal had to share out their kill. The jackal offers to do it and makes 4 equal shares. But the lion is unhappy with his share and kills the jackal. So the tahuri offers to share out the kill, gives half to the lion. Means the lion now have 1 from the kill. And another half of jackal, right? No. Or, huh? Let's continue. I prefer to be the lion, of course. Huh? Why? Don't you agree, Mother? I prefer the panther. The panther doesn't say anything, though. That's the most desirable position, of course. The panther, forgotten by everyone. She may be forgotten, but she does not submit. We have neither the claws nor the fangs of the lion. In any event, power is a curse. Let the others brawl over the scraps. Let us take our small share without fuss and keep ourselves safe. Correct? I beckoned her to come and help me up. She comes immediately and we take a few steps across the worn rocks that cover the floor. Anyway, it's been a very long while since there were any lions or tahuri or jackals. It is true, but I have something else on my mind right now. How old is your son, Nora? He'll be 7 next spring. So many years have we passed trying to leave this desert. How many companions have we lost? 21. Okay. As a mother, what should I do? I stroke her hand? I don't show any emotion? Stroke her hand. She hides her sorrow, but I know that each one of their names is carved on her heart. We cannot continue like this. Our tribe is no more than an exhausted huddle. We are too slow and the heat will kill us all in the end. So? And do you truly believe that staying here will save you? We can certainly survive for a few moons. Your thoughts during that time will be to lead the most tower among us to a more welcoming place. This is me. This is Nora. But Mother, I don't want to leave you. Listen to me, Nora. I have reached the end of my journey, but you haven't. She tries to interrupt, but I raise my hand for silence. You and Rafik, you'll choose from the volunteers. Yeza, Celia, and her brother Amir will certainly go. You will also take your son and your husband, Camille. He will be your guide to find a better land. Camille, our guide? I allow her for a few seconds to digest the information. Yes, Nora, you have all the qualities of a great war, chief, but to survive this time needs a panther, not a lion. Which is the guide? The husband? What an analogy. Why? Of course you understand. You didn't choose him by chance, after all. Perhaps I've always known. Good, so go and get him. I need to speak to him. This is not... Okay, let's continue. Then gather everyone together. I'll announce my decision at nightfall. So end of lines mean because they are living currently in the middle of the desert and probably couldn't... What is this? Couldn't stay? Couldn't survive. Couldn't survive is the correct word. They probably couldn't survive anymore and probably could only survive a few more months. They use moon though, which is basically the same as a month. So they're all going to leave, I guess. Hence the title is End of Lines. Nora leaves my tent. I sit back down again to await the coming of the gentle-hearted outlander. He's an intensely just man, and he's also the only one among us who knows the way into the north. The only one who could navigate amongst the wreckage of this world drift. Who? Second. Nora leaves my tent. I sit back down again to await the coming of the gentle-hearted outlander. He's an intensely just man, and he's also the only one among us who knows the ways into the north. The only one who could navigate amongst the wreckage of this world drift. Means the husband, Camille. A few minutes later, he enters, swathed in the blue robe that Nora made for him. Camille's voice has increased with these last years. The journey suits him. He comes toward me with deference. I suppose Nora has explained why I've summoned you. Yes, she has, matriarch. Why is matriarch? Matriarch. Basically matriarchy, or mother line from the birth. But why is matriarch? Why not mom, mother? So will you agree to guide the company through the remains of this world? His gaze is far away for several seconds. I have no idea what life outside the desert is like now, or if there's any life left. It's true that we've had no contact with the outside for several years. Years? The last we heard, wars and epidemics had struck all the cities. That was more than 10 years ago. There can't be much remaining outside the desert. I fear to find nothing but ruins. Where should we go, in your opinion? I suggest that you return to where you came from. Our lands have become uninhabitable. I'm afraid that mine won't be any better, at least not for much longer. Ah? Oh, his land, okay. Each year the seasons are hotter and drier. Well, not necessarily. There was a theory when I was young. It was called the Venus theory. If global warming reaches a certain magnitude, there are multiple tipping points which could lead the planet onto a path where the climate becomes out of control. That's to say that the phenomena triggered by the global warming would continue to add carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and so would keep increasing the warming exponentially. And we could do nothing to stop it. The greenhouse effect would become so strong that it would eventually boil the oceans, making all life impossible. I'm silent, shaken, in spite of myself, by this apocalyptic vision. They think that's what happened on Venus millions of years ago. The Venus theory. And you believe we are on the path to the same thing? I don't know, it's a very striking theory, but I think it's quite unlikely. Right? From what I understand, the climate would be more likely to stabilize once the carbon emissions had ceased. And in fact, I believe that's where we are now. Because even if we concede that life on Earth is not in danger, the climate stabilization will take time, and I don't know what will remain of the human race after the next century. Okay. Pretty far away. No matter what, life has become impossible here. But other habitable places must still exist. I refuse to believe that the 21st century will signal the end of humanity. It's pretty unlikely, saying that there is still a decade before 22nd. Perhaps we have still got some surprises ahead of us. Okay. Whatever the case, it's time to see what we can do to adapt to this new world. As you say, we've reached the end of a cycle. One story finishes, another begins. A story that's for you to write now. Okay. Interesting. Is that the intro, or that's already into the story? In End of Lines, certain situations can lead to a change of narrator. The sum of your decisions can influence the identity of the next narrator. Most of the choices offered to you favor one of the following archetypes. The lion favors the direct approach and confrontation, seeks to arm themselves and strikes first, is suspicious of others, always expects the worst, is ruthless. The panther avoids confrontation, prefers to flee danger, displays doubt, doesn't like to stay in one place, sacrifices themselves for others. The tahuri seeks out social interaction, eagerly accumulates wealth, strives to establish exchanges, will manipulate others, prefer the sedentary lifestyle. No, I don't. Nothing of this character is actually suitable with me. Choose wisely. It will soon be a year since we left the clan and the matriarch behind us. It feels like an eternity. We've crossed lands and seas until we are worn to the bone. Now that we have stopped walking, it's oddly silent. There's no sound but the wind and the crunch of the grains of sand between our teeth. The sky is red. Or is it? It's so hot that it feels red. When did it stop being blue? Okay. That's actually an interesting way to describe what's going on. Like practically everything is now gone or basically destroyed already in this world. this time. So everything became worse. And there is this mound of stones, a religious relic probably. The ancient road that I guide our little company along used to be traveled by pilgrims. But today I have no use for religions and gods. The only thing that matters to me is our survival, especially that of Sam, the only child in our company. This one, probably? My child. I checked the map entrusted to me by a poor woman a few weeks ago. She said that this was the only road we could still take. This road should take us north to a more welcoming place, toward the land where I was born and that I left more than 20 years ago. I don't know how much it has altered. Everything has changed so fast. I hope that we'll find a place fit to live where we can settle in peace. Okay. Second. Rafik breaks the silence with several groans as he unburdens himself of his bag. He allows himself a mouthful of water and grumbles under his breath before turning to me. I'm dead. Yes, we're all worn out. Rafik gives a small smile. I don't know, Nora doesn't seem to be suffering too much. He jerks his chin at Nora, who I'd agreed to marry over 10 years ago. Nora never seems to be suffering too much. You're forgetting the day she gave birth to your offspring. I've forgotten nothing. That was precisely the day when I realized that she was stronger than you'll ever be, Rafik. Sure, that's right, and in the meantime, it's me who's lugging the equivalent of her weight around on my back. Okay. Don't you get sick of complaining? Never. We should have exchanged you for a meal when we had the chance. That would have been one of your rare rational decisions. My decisions are always perfectly rational. If that was the case, you'd have decided to marry me. Okay! Suddenly he proposed. Okay. Out of nowhere. Suddenly. Should I recharge my phone, yeah? How long? Until 8:30. Should I recharge my phone now? Probably. Will I play game with a controller like that? No. There's Incolinati, there is Mars Underground, there's also that one. Probably. Let me just recharge my phone now. To be safe. Better prepare. Rather than regretting later. I know I'm going to play until 5, but then I don't know, my phone right now is only have 40% battery. So I guess it's better for me to recharge my phone. Let's continue. Would you have accepted? Of course not. What am I supposed to do with a shrimp like you? And anyway, you are right. Nora's the strongest of us. She'll bury us all. His words pulled me back to the harsh reality of our cast. The good humor has passed me like a too light breeze. Not at all, not Sam. He grips my shoulder kindly and answers with a solemn face as though making me a promise. No, not Sam, of course. But we have 4 characters before, right? Can I see this again? But we have 4 characters in the beginning, right? Oh no, it's gone already. Yeah, there are 4 characters in the beginning. The panther, the lion, the jackal, and the tahuri. There are 4 of them. So, my child, Sam, is the jackal, practically. Okay. I had to work Inaya and so on to help them get settled in. The couple had recently joined us. They'd been trying to survive as best as they could in the ruins on the edge of a big city. They were fortunate to meet us. We avoid going near the cities in general. These days, violence and sickness hold sway there. The path we are following crosses small villages instead, long deserted. Inaya and Son wanted to join us. Our life of traveling is hard, but I know that it's the only course. The drought and the heat waves which force us to leave our lands have continued to hit more and more regions. Those rare places where it's still possible. There's an end. Everywhere we go, there's no other choice but to leave. Since I couldn't abandon the couple to certain death, I agreed that they could come with us. They are still young, but they have been courageous and grateful so far. They're gentle, considerate people. Sometimes I get the feeling that they are too fragile for this existence. Sam comes over to cling to my leg as I cover our tent to protect us from the heat. I ruffle his hair with affection. Can I drink, Daddy? Yes, of course. My flask. We're not going to die of thirst, right? No. We've still got reserves and soon we're going to cross an old river. There will be some water for sure. Come here, I'll show you. I put him on my knee and show him the map. Can we see the map too? Oh. Where are we though? It's a worn old paper scattered with lettering in language I don't understand, but the lines across its surface are still readable. You can still even see some landmarks, and I think I recognize, like the mound of stones that used to shelter a religious symbol. Which one? That used to shelter a religious symbol that we are camping near today. Sometimes the lines separate and meet, branching decisions we will soon have to make. We trace the fragile lines with our fingertips as they fade and reappear across the tears and creases of the map. So which one is the river? I don't know. Sam's small hand and mine discover the possible futures and the tracks that await us. Will they be strewn with pitfalls or pleasant surprises? Probably a bit of both. Whatever the case, these lines guide us toward the hope of a more welcoming lawn. We cling to that hope, but in truth, we have no idea what we will find there, at the end of the map. Where the lines end. Chapter 1. Wake up. We just entered Chapter 1? Huh? I try to swallow. My throat is like sandpaper. The water is precious, it's not enough. All of a sudden I think of my father, of his life of before. Did he know? He leans against the bar as usual. On the bar, double espresso in a disposable cup. Did he know the price to be paid for those few drops of bitter petrol black liquid? The espresso? As I come through the glass door, he absently swallows another mouthful of coffee. He seems suddenly preoccupied by a tiny stain on the cuff of his new shirt, impeccably ironed, made in some country at the other side of the planet. My throat is dry, there's not enough water. Did he know what awaited us? I'm assailed by a wave of disgust, of anger. I go over the bar, ready to blow. I wait a few seconds on the threshold, trying to calm myself. It's him who sees me, who recognizes me. He raises his eyes from his shirt cuff and his gaze meets mine. He smiles at me. A smile bursting with maternal love, unshakable. Really? I lean on the bar next to him. I don't know what to say. I don't know where to begin. What are you doing? As you see, I'm having a coffee. This is my bar? He shows me his cup. I don't know if I should read amusement or condescension on the calm, patient voice he uses. This is the day you were born. I'm going to get a call from your mother soon. Without thinking, he pulls his smartphone from his jacket pocket and places it gently on the bar, as if it were the most precious thing he possessed. I'm a little surprised, for as long as I recall, my father never owned a smartphone. The phone vibrates furtively as if it felt that we were looking at it. My father automatically looks down at the screen. It's not a call I'm waiting for. It's probably not important. In the face of my bewilderment, he feels obliged to add, I'm sure you must wonder if the world I live in hasn't become completely crazy. It's like this all the time, round the clock. We've all got our minds on our day-to-day problems. Sometimes we look up from our screens, we look around us, we wonder if it's normal, and then we go back into our tunnels again, pulled from pillar to post. The smartphone lets out another vibrating wail, a subtle blend of newborn's cry and the ringing of a bell. Instinctively, he picks up the phone this time, taps the screen for a few seconds before bringing his attention back to me. Still nothing important? His astonishment suggested he'd done it by reflex without really noticing. Now it was work, nothing urgent. Anyway, I won't be available this afternoon, and they won't be seeing me anytime soon. I intend to make the most of my paternity leave. Oh, they have paternity leave. Okay. He's lost in thought for a few moments, a smile lighting up his face. To tell the truth, I didn't want a child that much, but Camille, my angel, now that you are here, I have no regrets. I'd make the same mistakes over and over to be able to see you live and grow again. He puts his hand gently on my shoulder. The telephone vibrates again. The sound is slightly different this time. He can't stop himself from looking at it. Hell, it's the battery. This thing discharges faster and faster. It's a real problem. Oh! Is it that bad? Even my potato phone, not really potato, I have Google Pixel 3a XL right now, and it basically could stand for like 8 to probably like 12 or 16 hours, and that's pretty long though, compared to the old Dan. He gives me a small, resigned smile. He finishes his coffee in one swallow and replaces the cup on its saucer. I notice the sugar lump, still wrapped in gaudy paper. I glance over all these blind people, invisible, transparent. Suddenly, I realize that my father with his suit, his coffee, and his superficial concern is part of that crowd. I try to put myself in the place of these people who truly don't understand what could be so absurd about sipping a coffee in a bar as the planet becomes slowly and inexorably inhospitable. I don't have the strength or the wish to get angry. I know that many of them did what they could, did their best just like my father. I tell myself that maybe if they'd started trying to change things sooner, they would have had a chance of success. No, I don't understand. Where are we? The writing is good. I like reading this visual novel. Do we have to leave, Daddy? Yes, my angel, we have to leave. Sorry, forgive me. In End of Lines, you will have to organize several camps for your company of travelers. Inaya has dipped into our provisions to make a hot meal for the company. At the beginning of each camp, the company used their resources to feed themselves. The narrator then takes stock of the resources according to how many characters in the company. Our resources are shrinking, but we still have enough to hold out. Currently, the resources and the number of people in the company are balanced. If your resources are too scarce, some members of the crew may leave the company. The narrative tells you which characters are exhausted and cannot participate in the expedition. Inaya is exhausted. Sam is exhausted. You must then choose which members of the crew you send on the expedition. The characters that you choose will have to rest and cannot participate in the expedition at the next camp. Warning, a character may be tired for various reasons, even if they haven't been on the last expedition. You can now add other people to the expedition or confirm the group as it is and launch the expedition. Just go two of you. The number of people sent in their state of fatigue determines the amount of resources gathered during the expedition. The expedition finds the riverbed, but it's dry. Its course has been deviated to an old irrigation tank, which does still contain a little water. The team filters and boils the reclaimed water. The resources which have been collected are added to your provisions. Be aware that certain situations and decisions will not be available to you if the balance between your resources and the number of travelers is unfavorable. I'm just going to play until this chapter 1 ends, yeah? Then I'm going to find out more about this game first before I continue to the next game. Somehow, I like the storytelling and the narration. The way they try to tell the story in the game. And also this kind of reminds me of the Beyond, The Last Beyond, which is one of another narrative game that I actually like a lot. It's from Fellow Traveler and Bellular, I guess. So I'm actually wondering if they have the same writer, because this is actually interesting and good. I enjoyed the session. A few minutes later, everything is packed up and we are ready to leave. The horizon shimmers with vivid shifting colors from the sinking sun. I contemplate the spectacle as magnificent as it is strange, searching for some clue that will allow me to predict the weather that awaits us in the next few hours. The wind has fallen, but this lull may be deceptive. Wow! But we. When we have finished, I lead our departure. The sky is clear, but I fear that the wind might lift suddenly, as it did yesterday. If that's the case, we'll have nowhere to shelter on this dry, rocky trail. We could opt for a detour to the south, which would allow us to find the asphalt road. We'd have more chance of finding a shelter going that way. On the other hand, the weather might be clement. It's hard to tell. Let's detour. See, it reminds me of the Pale Beyond, if I actually remember correctly. Hmm. Oh, these crabs! Oh! One day, suddenly the clouds spread apart and a pale blue sky appeared. I remember it as if it was once moved before my eyes. The colors that until then had seemed missing from the coastal landscape began to glitter. Sam takes my hand and points at a crab-covered rock nearby. Look, Daddy, they're blue. And yes, in the sun, the crabs are radiant cyan blue. Oh? With shades of green on the shell and their pins are ranging from orange to scarlet depending on the specimen. There's a blue crab. Okay. As we pass the first wave-beaten, salt-eaten stone of this town, we are surprised to see human figures on the some of the roofs. Humans, alive. I count about 10 at most. This is all human. Perhaps this. Okay. Daddy, why are they baking away? We continue, grouped together, advancing slowly. The inhabitants keep their distance but continue to watch us. After a while, the paved road which we have been following meets the sea and plunges into the water. So we are now in the city. Like this is not a dream? Huh. Okay. The roofs of houses project out for a few dozen meters. Only the tallest building pierces the surface of the water like the bell towers of a church battered by the waves. A second, I'm kinda confused though. There were six of us. And then when we entered the city, there's only four. Where's Soan and Inaya? Or this is a dream back then? Because, well, I remember we'd been skirting the coast for several days. The crossing had been a nightmare we'd have preferred to forget. We'd been prepared for demanding times, but none of us had expected to have to overcome such an ordeal. When we finally landed, we were no longer a tribe nor a company, just four survivors. I talked to Sam a lot. So this is a memory from back then, right? Hmm. This, I don't know. For me, I don't think this is going to end good. I mean, reading from this here, from the introduction, we'd been skirting the coast for several days. The crossing had been a nightmare we'd have preferred to forget. We'd been prepared for. We had been prepared for demanding times, but none of us had expected to have to overcome such an ordeal, which probably means that the current people who live in this area are going to probably ambush all these four people or something. What time is this? 3. When I open my eyes again, the sun is almost at the horizon. Rafik is back. I jump to my feet to go meet him. He's beaming. Prepare your beliefs. Prepare your bellies. We're invited to supper. How would you trust him? This one? The description! After a moment, I discern a kind of groove in the floor, and after clearing a thick layer of dust and rubble, I discover a crudely forged, bolted metal plate complete with two handles. Rafik and I take position on either side of the hatch. On three, the plate is unwieldy, but we manage to lift it just enough to slide it over and clear the opening. The first thing we find is a thick layer of straw, clearly very old. A strange smell immediately assails my nostrils. I gesture Rafik to back away. Gesture, gesture. Cereal? Wheat, maybe? Beneath the curious gaze of my companions, I climb onto Rafik's shoulder to reach a little window high up. After several bangs on the lintel, it finally yields, letting the scent of burning air rush in and almost making me lose my balance. It looks more like barley, in fact. It seems fine. I look at the grains in the palm of my hand. It's hard to not to be moved by the beauty of these precious, fragile little pearls. They store them underground? Chapter 2. I have 3 more games to cover, and I have 2 hours. I guess I'm going to save here, yeah? Me falta las estrellas. I'm going to save here. Save game. Let me continue this next time. It was interesting, I like it a lot. Reminds me of The Pale Beyond. Now I actually wanted and curious about who is the writer behind the game. While I haven't played The Pale Beyond for a really long time and also haven't finished the game, but it was enjoyable. I enjoyed the demo a lot. And after I received a key to play the game for free, I actually like it even more, but I haven't played the game since a really long time. Chapter 1. But it was interesting, enjoyable. Let's change this and